Bleed is a way to fulfill everyone's fantasies of jumping through the air and shooting at stuff in slow motion. It's a super specific dream we all share, and Bleed delivers. It's only around an hour to complete the entire game on normal, or at least it was for me, which means it'll take an average person around 25. It's a game that's not really just meant to be beaten so much as it is meant to be mastered. There are several different difficulties to choose from, and playing better and not taking damage earns you more currency, which can be used to purchase weapons, health, or extend the amount of time you can be in slow motion for. The slow motion feels incredible to use. There will just be mayhem around you, and you can slow it all down to a speed where you can weave in and out of projectiles, all while dealing damage and looking very cool in the process. The dash jumps give you an absurd amount of mid-air control to move whichever way you fancy. This is a game where if you die, it's your fault, and if I die, it's also your fault. Also, there's multiplayer. I didn't get a chance to try it because I have far too many friends to decide between, and it overwhelmed me. I give Bleed a rating of the number of friends you have out of the number of friends I have, but the number of friends you have is an imaginary number. Oh, I'm so lonely.
Contra is known for being one of the hardest games of all time, and it's a good thing people told me, because otherwise I never would have noticed. I'm what many call a hardcore gamer. This is due to my strong core muscles and desire to game. I also go by handsome gamer, strong independent gamer, how do you have time to game in between all the sex you must be having gamer, and a god. It may look as if I'm playing this with a friend, but I'm actually controlling player 1 with my left hand and player 2 with my mind. I didn't die for the entire length of this review, a feat that has been done before, but I'm also doing it. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Contra. It has so much destruction on screen at any given time, it's almost hard to believe the SNES could handle it. Each of the different gun pickups felt satisfying in their own way, even though the heat-seeking missiles are objectively the best, and that isn't even debatable, and it was just a really great escape from reality to play as someone less powerful than myself for a bit. So finally, for all of the reasons I've listed, I give myself a perfect rating of 10 out of 10. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends. I played Donkey Kong Country with a friend to see if it still holds up today. I'm whichever character you think is better at the game. I know all the secrets and everything you can do in this game. Like, did you know that you could do this? Or this? Or upset your friend by taking credit for her knowledge of the secrets? The controls for this game don't feel outdated at all. The platforming feels as tight as any modern platformer, and the level design is still clever and a blast to navigate. Even the graphics still look great. For many people, this is a challenging game, but we also thought that. I'm so tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking inclined plane. The parry mechanics are trash. It didn't take us long to get complete mastery over the game, though. We were even able to get footage of the game over screen multiple times. I give Donkey Kong Country a rating of your dad's strength out of my dad's strength. Whether or not you'll like it is dependent on if your dad is strong enough for you to handle it, but the game still has some flaws, which is why the numerator will never be stronger than my dad. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends. I'm here with Downwell, a retro roguelike Metroidvania falling down a well RPG Call of Duty game. Brand new game, you guys probably haven't gotten your hands on it yet because I was given an advance copy. The game's name actually has a deeper meaning in that down is the English word for not up, and well is the English word for great. This translates to not up great. But all genius observations aside, this game is fun as fuck. You're surprisingly weighty little pixel boy, free falls, and you have to string together combos while trying not to land, and having only your shooty boy boots to slow you down and take out bricks and bad boys in your path. It's randomly generated every time too, so the skill always comes from your mastery of the game and never memorization. The retro aesthetic is amazing, and my time with it made me feel so much nostalgia from my childhood because I still live with my parents. Wow, so immersive. It's like he's talking right to me. I had a blast with it though, so when it finally releases to the general public in 2015, go check it out. I give Downwell a rating of 3.13 out of 3.14159265358979323 3846264338327950. Like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends.
Enter the Gungeon is a bullet-like rogue hell game that's like hard as heck. Each run you can collect different guns and abilities, and I only once in my first 5 hours with the game picked up the same gun twice. And I barely scratched the surface with the variety this game has to offer. It has a plethora of different enemies. Some of my favorites are the bullets, the bigger different colored bullets, the ghost who seemingly shoots to where you used to be when it was alive, and myself. All jokes aside though, there is a huge variety, most of which based on bullets or guns, and you won't even encounter the same bosses every run. My favorite starting boss is this bird that's been absolutely crushing Wii Fit. Also, you can flip over tables for protection. I found the best strategy was to stack a few together. It's slow moving, but you will never be killed by or reach an enemy. One of the best parts of the game though, the gun puns. They're so great there's a gun and gun billion chance you won't like them. It's free right now on PlayStation Plus, so get a grip and pull the trigger on the download. If you aim to have fun, you'll get barrels of it. But remember to take safety. I give Enter the Gungeon a rating of Gunty 5 out of bullets. Please silence me, I can't stock with the puns, I'll even wear a muzzle. Cock damn! Everhood, an ineffable tale of the inexpressible divine moments of truth, is a rhythm game with a twist of being not like the other rhythm games. In that, it was the first one to make me look up what ineffable means, and the fact that the goal here is to dodge the notes. Sort of, but no spoken spoilers here. Either by jumping or moving side to side, and dear god does it get chaotic. Even on normal difficulty, you can really only take a couple consecutive hits before you're donezo. And there are higher difficulties and a New Game Plus on top of that. The track list here is full of so much unique stuff. Each character you battle is given a whole different feel based on their music and how their notes appear visually. It honestly feels like a musical bullet hell at times, which, if there's any justice in the world, will also be the title of my Broadway musical at some point. There are several different endings though, I only got one so far, and holy hell is there a lot to the story and game here. I kept thinking it was over and then they were like, oh no, don't worry, it actually gets harder. Plenty of content for the $10 price tag. It's simply, divinely, inexpressibly ineffable. And also very cool looking. I give Everhood a rating of pig who plays metal out of stoic, way too cool tutorial frog who plays the blues and my heartstrings.
This is Huniepop, a dating sim recommended to me by a girl because I talked to those. I started to play and realized it was just porn. Porn with many extra steps, but I'm a reviewer with integrity, so I played through the entire game and all of its side content. The game mostly consists of girls being inexplicably flattered that you remember their cup size. After that, you take them on a date and try to impress them with a puzzle. Look familiar, fellas? Then there's these sex mini-games, which is the closest theoretical approximation to sex, which is of course hypothetical and no one has actually had. There's no actual nudity on screen right now, but my minigame skills are simply too passionate for YouTube. The actual gameplay is surprisingly fun and full of different potential strategies when you start considering item use. And this game was clearly written by someone who has a lot of experience with reading books about what real women are like. After doing the impossible and speaking to, then sleeping with 8 women, then, well, I think you know what happens next. A sex god descends from the heavens and asks you to try and fuck her. I was successful. I give this game a rating of the closest thing you can have to the hypothetical act of sex out of, wait, you guys are having sex?
Katamari Damacy is a very cliched story. We've heard it a million times. The king of the cosmos gets fucked up one night and destroys all the stars in the sky, then needs the prince to roll random items on Earth into various sized balls to replace them. Just like Shrek the Third, probably. No one has ever seen it. But seriously, the game is fun in a way that was so original it's mind-blowing. There is something so bizarrely gratifying about getting your ball bigger and being able to pick up bigger and bigger stuff that you may have previously bounced off of and had destroy part of your ball, can eventually be picked up, including livestock, buildings, islands, clouds, and countries. If this doesn't sound like your cup of tea, you are wrong and are no longer allowed to have tea. This game never tries to make much sense, and it's perfect. The King of the Cosmos is hilarious, and you never question why it's possible to roll up a rainbow, because everything up to this point has been just as weird. It still feels fresh today, and it's hard to believe, but this game is 17 years old. For some perspective, that is 17 years older than something that is new. Also, it has one of the best soundtracks ever. Every song absolutely slaps. I give Katamari Damacy a rating of a very large ball out of Shrek 2, because both are perfect in my eyes.
Psychocat the Door was given to me by the developer because my channel blew up after that video you like so much. But don't worry, even with zero bias, I would still say this game is a lot of fun and intensely original. It's a trippy runner where you have to dodge moving obstacles, and at first glance, it may seem like a straightforward day in the life of a cat. But here's the catch: when you pass over these rings, they flip left with right or up with down, and can be combined at the same time, which will really fuck with the heads of people that aren't as smart as me. Which is every person, according to my mom. The same report revealed I am also the most handsome. I breezed through the game, stopping only to die 888 times for the achievement. After that, it was smooth sailing. Wait. Better! There is also a cool late-game twist to gameplay I won't reveal here as it feels like a spoiler. I give Psychocat the Door a rating of, this game and its prequel are only $6 combined, so pick them up and support a small indie dev. Out of, for the price of one AAA game, you could buy them and Venmo me $54. Venmo in the description. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends.
This is the early access game Rhythm Doctor, and as a former / slightly current musician, I have to say it's just like playing in a band if you replace the fear of public embarrassment because you got out of time with the possibility of a human death. Also, your bandmates are actively trying to make that happen. I'm not gonna lie to you, this game can be fucking frustrating, but also not lying to you, getting a track down that had been really throwing you off up to that point feels similarly rewarding to learning a difficult song on your real-world instrument. It genuinely made me want to pick up the guitar again, but then I remind myself off of all the natural disasters that occur when I shred too hard. Hurricanes. Heard of them? Luckily, there was no danger of that in this game because the instrument is your spacebar, which is the one instrument I'm yet to master. You have to press it at the specified beats to act as a sort of goalie, blocking the heart from its arch nemesis, a stable rhythm. As you can probably hear, there's a solid track list to go along with it. I'm not going to spoil any of the later song/levels here, so there will be new stuff waiting for you if you want to try it. I give Rhythm Doctor a rating of out of Tell me what to play next. Rocket League is so much pure, uncut fun, I was almost unable to stop playing long enough to write this video. When I booted it up, it seemed pretty intimidating, so I started with the tutorials and was absolutely nailing it. By the end of those, the only thing that could slow me down was the ball moving or other players, so I jumped into the real games, and holy hell did I suck for the first few matches. I could barely even touch the ball, let alone score or defend, but the remarkable thing about Rocket League is how fast you can enter a rhythm, and all of a sudden you can touch the ball, and then start getting assists, and then you score, and before you know it, your teammates aren't even mad at you anymore. There's nothing more satisfying than maneuvering a car through the air into a flying ball to knock it past the opposition, except maybe saying that sentence. You can also customize your car and unlock more and more stuff to do so as you play and complete challenges, most of which just happen naturally as you go if you have even a fraction of my skill. Plus, if you want, you can spend real-world money, and if you have that, please tell me what it's like to have that. I give Rocket League a rating of out of Subnautica is beautiful and occasionally terrifying. I got several recommendations to play it and a PlayStation Store gift card, which currently makes up most of my net worth, and now here we are. Its world is large and impressive, but overwhelming at first if you're an anxious boy like myself. Luckily, beginner's guides are bountiful. It's the classic crafting game loop of explore the environment to get things to craft stuff, to explore more environment to craft more stuff. I'm usually pretty hit or miss with this loop, but the vast majority of the time I played this, I was super invested. There's a cool mystery to uncover as you go, and getting new equipment generally creates huge changes in the gameplay and your ability to explore. Like when you get a bigger oxygen tank and a means of swimming faster, you can stay underwater so much longer, and it subsequently changes the way you see your surroundings. The depth you can reach is much greater, and it opens the world up almost like an organic Metroidvania. Eventually you get a vehicle, a base, and a passive-aggressive message.
Treat this space as your home, but never forget that it is not.
I give Subnautica a rating of fish out of water. No, but seriously, it's good. Superliminal is a mindfuck and a beautiful message in that order. This game is all about perspective. Where and how an object looks to you is where and how it will be when you pick it up or let go of it. It's hard to explain in talky words, but hopefully the visuals are spelling it out for you. It has an almost Portal-like sense of humor and, dare I say, level design that is just as clever. It never feels repetitive as it keeps throwing new ideas into the mix that feel so satisfying to learn, are cool as fuck, and will make you feel genuinely impressed someone even came up with them. My personal favorite is a level where you have to force a paradox to escape. I'm not going to give away any major puzzle solutions here, though. Please play this game for yourself if you got 20 bucks to drop on it on Steam. It's brilliant as all hell and will leave you feeling good. Its message is about how perspective changes everything. For example, I'm not really fat. It's actually that there's a very judgmental person standing too close to me. It's also a short game. I completely lack depth perception, and it took me about 3 hours. So if you don't hit the curb every time you park, expect the game to be a bit shorter. I give Superliminal a rating of 34 out of 34, but from like a different perspective. I don't know, figure it out. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator answers so many age-old questions. Like, what if pirates fought ninjas and they were all the consistency of a flaccid penis that's playing a hard one for Halloween? The winner, pirates, and the loser, ninjas, and my frame rate. If you plan to have almost 300 ninjas on screen, make sure your graphics card is up to it, but if it's not, you can still watch the world's most violent PowerPoint. How about 6 woolly mammoths and 6 dragons? Dragons win with no sign of remorse, and if that seems surprising to you, keep in mind woolly mammoths are universally played by Ray Romano.
I liked you guys better when you were extinct!
And dragons do not love Raymond, which is how scientists have determined they are fictional. If you want to know how eating the rich would actually go, I tested it with 300 peasants and one of how Elon Musk sees himself. Ultimately, Musk killed many of us, but we came out on top. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator also includes a lot of campaign scenarios that limit the amount of money you can spend and on what types of forces. Overall, this was barely a review, but I give the game a solid Sacred Elephant out of a woolly mammoth. Remember to comment suggestions for other games below. I've been sick the past few weeks, but I'm back on it now, so let me know what I should play. There Is No Game is a game that does everything in its power to prevent you from playing it, but not like in an Anthem way. Oh! The game is actually fun, or at least the process of trying to play the game is fun. Am I making any sense? No? Okay, so you start the game, and the game named Game starts talking to you to tell you that there's no game to be found, but being a troublemaker, you make your own game and start messing with stuff in clever ways, like using the exclamation point from There Is No Game to begin a game of Brick Breaker with the rest of the letters. Game. After messing up everything you can, end, you get sucked into other dimensions, and it is now your goal to return home and stop the glitch from carrying out an unclear plan. It's mostly a point-and-click adventure type thing, but calling it that doesn't really do it justice, both because of how much it can vary using that basic formula and how interesting the actual puzzles are. You are constantly messing with the user interface in a very meta way. My favorite part of the game, though, is all the passive-aggressive jabs it takes at failing to meet its Kickstarter goal.
If my crowdfunding campaign hadn't failed, this would never have happened.
Perfectly petty. I give There Is No Game no rating out of nothing to see here. Comment game suggestions, please. Well, the votes are in from the previous video, and you guys chose Thumper. No game in recent memory has made me forget to breathe quite as much as Thumper. The visuals mesh with the gameplay to create the most fast-paced fever dream I've ever experienced. The first few levels I was like, pfft, why did everyone think this was so hard? Then I hit level 4 and I was like, dear God, why didn't anyone warn me this was so hard? They just keep throwing new mechanics at you and you have to keep track of them on the fly and stay within the rhythm of the song. Things either click or fall apart in a fraction of a second. It's the type of game that has to be experienced and can't be described exclusively by telling you its mechanics. A rhythm game where you have to time different inputs with the music could be interchangeable with Guitar Hero, but this game is Guitar Hero's fight or flight response. And the only thing that could scare Guitar Hero is this shit. What the fuck is that? It's also unique with the type of inputs that have to be matched with the rhythm. They are not straightforward this button then this button. You actually have to avoid obstacles, and that is significantly more engaging. I give Thumper a rating of what is that out of dear God, what the fuck is that? Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends. Toribash is a game where you have to control every individual joint on this robot boy in order to perform moves, and I was really terrible at it and didn't win a match up until one where, and I'm not making this up, thought I was spectating and didn't realize I was playing. So as an expert, I'll show you the ropes. To punch, you just have to lock all of your joints so you don't immediately collapse, contract your right elbow, begin a leftward rotation with your chest, then raise your right shoulder and extend your right elbow and boom, you're ready to beat the practice dummy. Alright, let's take these moves to the online mode. Okay, I lost, but that's a great learning experience. The amazing thing about this game is how different strategies work at different times. For example, what I just showed you is perfect for an opponent that doesn't fight back. If you have an opponent that does fight back, what you can do is contract both knees, then execute that move, then extend both knees and contract both hips, and boom, you can flee. But seriously, if you've got some patience and love movement type puzzles, this game is free and you should check it out. Watch some of the replays to see what you can do, they're dope. I give this game a rating of, I'm literally questioning if I even understand how I move, out of this kick because it's the coolest shit ever. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is very reminiscent of an early Zelda game if Link was a turnip that committed tax evasion. You got the sword you water to make grow, you got the top-down camera, and one big improvement with more hats. I feel really bad for Turnip Boy. He has a compulsion where he has to rip every piece of paper he sees. Like, look, there's no option for put down, it's read or rip like a cool professor tearing up a piece of paper that says the rules on it. So we know this is literally a disability Turnip Boy has, but he lives in an ableist society that refuses to send the poor guy a fucking email. Instead, he gets charged with tax evasion and has to run weird errands for the mayor. The game takes you through a pretty small area with many sections that can be revisited to collect various items for the mayor, like goo and a laser pointer. It has basic combat and puzzles and is overall enjoyable and funny. A little heavy on the meme/current event humor for my personal taste at times, but it's far too charming for me to ever be upset about it. I give Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion a rating of libertarian turnip out of, is libertarianism good? Please argue about it in the comments, it boosts me in the algorithm. Also, please tell me what games to play next.
2020's Marvel's Avengers made a bold decision going with pixel graphics for a AAA game, and releasing it for the SNES. This may explain some of its poor sales, but it does everything it can to bring a retro feel to the game. Yes, there is an underwater level, but don't worry. You also have an air meter that drains impossibly fast. It also poses philosophical questions like, can you be already dead and then run out of air? And physics questions like, there's 3 evil Hawkeyes, each of whom can shoot arrows very quickly and in 8 directions. Why? This game really feels like stepping into an MCU film. You can play as all of your favorites, Mark Ruffalo, Captain Propaganda, Toby Holland, Elon Thrust, and Furry Krueger. They take on all of the universe's biggest threats, including Sasquatch. This should put an end to him minding his own business. In all seriousness, though, War of the Gems is actually a pretty fun game. So I give Marvel's Avengers War of the Gems a rating of thank you for watching till the end, even though I lied to you, out of it was pretty funny though, so I mean also, you're welcome. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends. Super Hexagon dares to ask the question, am I having fun or nauseous? And it answers with a resounding what? As you could pretty obviously see from the gameplay footage, Super Hexagon is about a triangle whose wife left him and he's now trying to navigate the dating world in his 40s. He's frequently struck by rotating shapes, Sound familiar, fellas? The game surprisingly didn't ever make me nauseous despite constantly bracing for it. Why would I keep playing through the threat of vomit, you might ask? Because this game is unbelievably addicting. The gameplay itself is Atari-level simplistic, and the rounds and restarts are so quick you will be thinking just one more constantly. There are 3 difficulty levels, all of which require survival for pretty short periods of time. I played for about 5 hours without even realizing it, so naturally I was able to make it about 43 seconds into the easiest difficulty. This playtime is definitely a testament to the level of pure fun that is this game. I give this game a rating of will triangle ever find love out of find out never, because you will probably never see the end. Is there even an end? Oh dear God, I should never have projected my problems onto this triangle. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell, friends.